Welcome, everyone. What's happening, everyone in the chat? As always, I have Papa Pete here with me. Jeff has got he's kind of backed up right now on some work and stuff, so he's not going to be making it this evening. But hey, we're here and we're ready
here.
And we're ready to talk. We're ready to
Coco
show you.
too.
Hey, and Coco's here too. It wouldn't be a Astro Smash Monday without that.
Nope, that's right.
Christopher, what's happening?
Hey, Christopher.
Live in the moment. How you doing? Of course, TV's Hasselhoff. And Patrick Smith, how you doing, man?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, yeah. Hello, Scallywag.
Scallywag is from I say it every week. He's from my area. I'm so shocked that there's somebody lives somewhere near me watching these things.
And Hasselhoff says, DJC's on time. Yeah, believe it or not. I guess I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I pulled that off. They having a blast playing. Oh, the Miko album. Thank you, man.
Done.
That's awesome. Frogbog and Night Stalker. Yeah, those are fun, man. Those are fun. Yeah, Scallywag says, yeah, he lives pretty close to you. Any word when we get our product? If that's with Amico, I'm waiting to hear too. I got 2 pre-ordered. They say end of year. Yeah. How about those Lions? Yeah, they win one. They won one game. I said, don't win the game. Just be the worst. If you're going to be the best at something, be the best at the worst, since you're almost there.
That made the headlines everywhere. Winning a game.
Isn't that nuts, though? Like, because I remember, because I haven't followed. I'm not a huge football fan. I haven't followed
right.
it, at least that NFL or anything. And my cousins they're all about it. They place the bets. They watch every game. They they just love all the teams. They got certain favorites. But every Thanksgiving here we watch. It's the Lions play that Thursday.
Sure.
And so I come prepared for them to lose, because that's, to be honest, about 90% of the time they lose. And of course they lost. And my cousin, that's what he's like, they haven't even won one yet. I was like, oh God, what would it have mattered? I'm like, at this point, go for the no wins. Just go for no wins and take the trophy for the worst.
Take the friggin' top draft pick.
I don't even know. There must be a curse on that team.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, they had a little bit.
They just redo everything or something.
Stafford's pretty good. He's gone now, but I mean, the whole time they must have had him for 10 years. They never managed to do anything. They really haven't done anything since Barry Sanders left, which is like 90.
A while ago. Yeah, what was that?
85, I can remember, something like 87, something like that, getting his rookie cards and stuff. And it was like, I mean, he was amazing. But wow, futility is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like they need to. I like how they try to redo the logo. It's like, no, maybe you just need to redo the team, like the full team, the full management, come up with a new concept, maybe even lose the Lions name. I just feel like it doesn't do it. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing.
I'll tell you, I sincerely believe that they have some of the nicest uniforms and stuff in the game.
They're nice looking, but it's just like they're not pulling over. A funny thing, there's a bar up by us here that has they did some really cool watercolor paints. They did like a portrait of Justin Verlander from the Tigers, and he's pitching like this. And right as it's drying and they're finishing it, he got traded, or he went to Houston. So I was like, okay, well, that's on the wall. And they did the same thing. They're finishing up the Stafford one the next time they do it, and then he's gone. I was like, so we got 2 former Tiger and Lions that are on the wall forever now.
Yeah.
I just thought it was always funny.
But, the Tigers have done all right over the years, and the Red Wings certainly have done all right the last 20 years.
They haven't been. They could be better now. Those late 90s, and then the early, what was it? Was it 04 they won again?
Yeah, the Yzerman Fedorov era with Lidstrom and
once that kind of that was such a great team. That's when I was so into it and so watching, and just I would watch every game, and just every game was
good.
Just an event. Yeah,
them in Colorado would have those rivalries. It was crazy.
Oh man,
and
the best is Probert. The game. Yeah. Oh, Probert. What? Yeah. Oh man, talk about a fighter, man. That dude was a tough dude.
Yeah.
He was banned from going to Canada, I think, a couple times, wasn't he?
Well, he's Canadian, but
Oh, is he can't, or
Yeah.
maybe it was the other way around.
Put it this way, he had some issues.
He had some like travel bans or something like that.
Well,
That's what
yeah,
it was.
he'd get caught doing things he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, I forgot what there was something about they wouldn't let him cross over, so maybe it was the opposite way or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I say that, it's like I always thought he was Canadian anyway.
Yeah.
I double check that.
But
I think he's from Ontario.
I really think I would love to just see that happen again for Wings. Like that was, I just remember everything was an event. Oh yeah, the one game when both the goalies came out and started fighting in the middle, and then the coaches started fighting, and then that whole Colorado thing was that was unbelievable. And then was it Lemieux knocked out Draper, messed him up pretty bad.
Yes, but Lemieux was like that. Lemieux would the sucker punch, That was Claude Lemieux. He would never ever stand with anybody toe to toe. He was one of the worst, absolute worst sucker punchers and cowards in the whole game. But he was a decent hockey player too overall. But he was just such a worm that he was hated by anybody who wasn't on his team.
It's funny because we all knew, and even they knew. It was like when the next meetup, they were beelining. They didn't care about penalties. Nothing they beeline to him and beat the living crap out of him.
Yeah,
and I knew that was going to happen, and we all were I just remember cheering, and God, I love that sport when it was just. I mean, obviously, when your home team's winning, you're so into it and so proud, and
Claude Lemieux made Brad Marchand look like an angel. He was such a worm. They call Marchand the Rat, and he pisses off everybody on every other team, but he was nothing. He paled in comparison to Claude Lemieux.
Oh, God, those were good times, man. When will we see the Missile Command deep dive? You think? Yeah, you know what? I haven't seen it. I'm hoping maybe this week then, because it was supposed to be, I thought, Friday. But I haven't really heard anything. So yeah, I was hoping for it too. So I mean, if today's Monday, yeah. So hopefully this week sometime, maybe tomorrow. I would think soon. I would like to see that because that looks good, and we saw one about a year ago. To be honest, that was pretty in depth too. Yeah. But that's a good looking game for a Missile Command game. That is a good looking game. I've seen that Recharge, and I wasn't too. I'm not trying to knock it. It might still be fun. I guess I didn't like the whole vector look to it, like the neon look, like vector kind of graphics they did in the Atari VCS Recharged. Maybe they'll film it in a real missile silo. Hey, wouldn't that be cool? Oh my goodness! What?
Probert was from your neck of the woods. He was born and passed away in Windsor.
In who? On who now is it?
Probert was from your neck of the woods. He was born and passed away in Windsor.
In Windsor, okay.
Yeah. So
you missed what we talking about? No, we were just talking some classic. Well, actually, we were talking hockey, Shondell.
Yeah, that's right, Shondell.
But no, someone was asking.
Shondell, I haven't seen you around in a long time. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. No, we were talking. Someone asked about if it was going about the Missile Command, and we're just saying we don't know. We're hoping to see it soon. I'd love to see more of that. Speaking of that, I was going to talk about. I was going to show something here. If anyone's never knew about the very first time Intellivision was introduced to the public in 1979, before it hit the mainstream. This is a snippet of what people may have saw.
Intellivision is a series of modularized hardware components and software that offer the consumer a choice of purchase options and benefits for now and in the years to come. The heart of Intellivision is the master component. Inside is a powerful 16-bit microprocessor, a full range of realistic sound effects including 3-part harmony music, a broad color palette, and an extraordinarily high level of resolution. The master component can be utilized cartridges. The opportunity to play a broad range of entertainment and game themes, sports, gambling, action, strategy, and children's learning fun. Each cartridge provides for strategic and tactical intensity, physical skill challenge, as well as true-to-life sights, sounds, and variability. The master component hand controllers are humanly engineered by Mattel Electronics to uniquely combine keypad, object and action controls into one integrated device. The need for different controllers for different games is obsolete. Further, the keypad features an exclusive overlay system. Each game comes with customized printed overlays that simply slide in over the keys. All you need to know to play each game is printed right on the overlays. Each controller also features 4 action buttons, 2 on each side, so that they can be used easily by both left and right-handed players. And forget old straight-line joystick-type controllers for all time. Objects can now be precisely maneuvered with a unique object control disc to perceptively simulate lifelike 360-degree movement.
How about that?
Something else, huh?
I love how it's like, forget the joysticks of yesteryear.
Yeah.
That's the oldest thing. Did anyone see the cartridges stacked up and the difference on the names to what they actually became to be? I saw the one said spelling fun instead of word fun.
Yeah, spelling fun. That Las Vegas, roulette, slots, and craps.
Yes. Fans, I wonder if there's got to be a couple of those cartridges just floating around someplace. I hope so, at least.
And what was the big one that was there that we always talk about?
Oh, did anybody else see it? We'll wait and see if anyone else noticed it. That it made sense. Memes, what's happening, dude? Very good to see you. Let's see if anyone. Yeah. Also, it was humanly engineered control pads. The original Intellivision is a gamer's relic. Anyone who owns one is lucky. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think we're going to say it here. It was. I think what you're going to hold up. Battlestar Galactica Space Battle, which is what it was originally supposed to be before just Space Battle.
Pretty much. Look, this is the mock-up of that original one, only ever seen in that video.
Yeah, oh my goodness! Like I said, some of those, like the craps and the slots and craps cartridge, I would love to get a hold of that, man. I just put it in a glass case with a light.
Yeah,
that was like one of the coolest things ever, man. Like. I did purchase a Wizard of War, by the way.
Did ya? Good. Amongst some others.
So on my Christmas Eve show, I'm gonna open up and do. Hopefully, if it gets there by then, I hope. I'm hoping it will.
Yeah.
But good. Yeah, I cannot wait to play Wizard of War. This is gonna make me now force me to do my mod and like just get into my shop, just do the mod on one of these Intellivisions, probably the really old one.
Yep.
And actually be able to stream my homebrews through a modded original Intellivision. Was Twiggy in it? No, that's Buck Rogers. Was Twiggy. Battlestar Galactica. Well, they had the Cylons and stuff, right?
Yep, Cylon Raiders, and
I never got
gimmicky thing was the boy and the dog, the funky dog in Battlestar Galactica. But I don't even remember what the dog's name was.
I never see Buck Rogers. I watched a lot as a kid. I never really got. I knew of Battlestar Galactica, but I never sat down and watched it. Like, Scallywag says, Boxy.
Boxy. That's it. Exactly.
Yeah, that is that. Man, all those old man. I'm surprised there wasn't a Buck Rogers game on the Intellivision. Yeah. Knowing that they just love to do the space stuff.
I'm trying to think if Buck Rogers was even though really out at that time. Like it might have been later.
Was Buck Rogers early 80s? I thought it was late 70s.
Let's take a look.
That's a good one. That'd be a nice talk about a good DVD set to get or Blu-ray set to get. I wouldn't mind seeing Buck.
About 79. No,
Buck Rogers. So that makes about sense then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Scallywag confirmed. 79. Yeah, I think that and what was the other one I used to watch? Was it $16 Million Man or $1 Million Man?
$6 Million Man.
$6 Million Man. God, why did I miss that?
That was earlier.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember the actor that played Buck Rogers. What his
Gil
name?
Gerard.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy Leg's like, hey, we're all nerds. That's okay.
Right.
But yeah, man, I might have to do some Amazon shopping later and buy and I know they got Buck Rogers on Blu-ray. That's like just a big show. I would love to see that. I really would. Speaking of other things to see, this was an add-on to the master component known as the keyboard adapter. Check this out.
The keyboard component consists of a full 64-key typewriter-like keyboard, an advanced magnetic tape cassette drive completely under the control of the microprocessor, and a microphone that is used for certain programs requiring user voice input. With the keyboard and master components combined, the consumer can now purchase special magnetic tapes featuring 2 digital and 2 full audio tracks. The tapes provide programs for family financial management, physical health, and well-being, and self-education. Each of these offerings is pre-programmed and features an expert consultant who actually talks you through the material. You respond in plain English, using the familiar typewriter-like keyboard or microphone. There is absolutely no need for knowledge of a computer language.
Well, how about that? There's no need for computer knowledge or language. The typewriter-like keyboard will help you and do your inputs.
I still remember back waiting for that to come out because my brother-in-law was just itching to get it, and it never got released. Right, it was the minute small release in California. Otherwise, he would have been all over it. Jeez.
How you doing, Horace?
Right now.
Yeah, what an awesome commercial. I used to that, and then obviously the compare and you'll know commercials. Beep boop beep. Yeah, what did the sound Twiggy made? Like bleep 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 bleep.
Yeah, which was all Mel Blanc's voice, right?
Was it really?
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
That's nothing to him.
Right, I know, right? They're just like, call someone. Well, it's a big show. Let's call Mel Blanc, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then there was the doctor computer, and eventually Twiggy wore, and he wore him around his neck, and it was that circle that would talk.
Yeah, Dr. Thermopolis, wasn't it?
Yeah. What happened? Didn't he get like destroyed, and that's why they used that? Or was it? I forgot.
I don't remember the detail. I really don't.
Now I'm like, I really, really want to get that set now. That's some of like early TV memories. We were talking last time about Mr. Dress Up. I'd say right after that would probably be Buck Rogers.
Yeah, really. Yeah, who is it? Somebody pointed out in the chat there. Boxy was the boy. Daggett was Daggett was the type thing. And Muffet was the dog. And it was called, right there. Okay. Brian got it. Yeah.
Yes. No kidding. Hey, it's Mr. Rab. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Rab has arrived. Well, he's still walking. That's why he hasn't been, on too many streams. He's continuing his walk, and once he's done, he's kind of like Forrest Gump. He just keeps walking around the world. When he's just done, he'll stop and he'll come back on the streams. That's why, Jan. That's because Jeff's actually busy. That's why. But it's funny back in those days though, because I really wanted that Intellivision the keyboard component.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was the music synthesizer, but the big brown one, which is more rare than you'll find that because they made the little gray one for did they make the gray one for the 2, right?
The gray one was for the 2. Seems to me, wasn't the brown one European? Because one PCS that's brown.
Oh, weird. Someone was talking about this the other day on the Amico Club. That someone had shown one, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love one of those." And they're like, "Well," he's like, "I'll trade you a Learning Fun 1 and 2 for this brown and gold synthesizer." I was like, "I don't have those," but I mean, I would love to. Oh man, that would look so cool, like on the shelf right under all the games here.
Yeah,
just faced out, But I've never played any of the musical stuff, but I mean, that's got to be an awesome fun.
That
Have you
Melody
played
Blaster is an expensive game now.
Have you played Melody Blaster?
No, never have.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, because I was wondering about that, like, because you obviously probably, you could actually play music on the keyboard then.
Right. Yeah.
God, that would see what I need to do is at least, well, the cheapest route would probably be to get Melody Blaster and then get an Intellivision 2 and the synthesizer for the Intellivision 2 and record some the next music with
And
actual
you can do your new album.
Dude, that would be really cool.
That and you get one of TJ's Atari Falcons, and you'd be all set.
Yeah, that's right. And I need to get myself an Aquarius too, so I can play ASTROSMASHED.
TJ's got one of those too. You can get one of those with not too bad. Certainly, you can get one a lot easier. You can get a keyboard component or maybe even a synthesizer. But
no, those were, I always wanted one of that. We never, like, when we got games, we never got like it would be like we get it, my mom or my dad, mostly my dad, he would go and pick up a game, or he'd go out with my mom and and then he'd stop by Kmart on the way home, and sometimes you'd be like, okay, I remember one day he brought back Auto Racing, and then one time he brought back Night Stalker and Frog Bog. And something like that, but it was like every once in a while it would just maybe take a month or so, and you get a couple games or get a game. I mean, it wasn't like because all my friends mostly had Atari, and they just had stacks and stacks of games. But I think even then, by that time, the Atari, because that's when they were running those commercials for, wasn't it under $50, 2600, at least in the like, right, because it crashed 83.
Yeah.
So that, because it was the 2600, it had been out since 77.
I remember looking at the Atari Juniors and stuff. They were no more than $50. Like Zellers,
that was
the big department store up here. Zellers and Sears.
Zellers, Sears, definitely.
But Sears up here didn't have the different games. Like it didn't have I don't recall them carrying the Sears telegames or the video arcade or the Super Video arcade in Canada. Maybe they did, but I don't think so.
Okay, old TV way back. Anybody remember Whitney and the Robot?
Negative.
No. I remember Small Wonder in the 80s with the he made like a little girl daughter robot that had like superpowers. Yeah, he got one over at sale at Sears, Kmart, or Zellers. Yeah.
Zellers was a big thing. Kmart too. Yeah, you're right. Kmart, where he's from, was big. When I was a kid, you always went to Kmart when you went to Fredericton.
Yeah, Kmart was like, they had the glass case, and then you had all the boxes. Basically, it was like, they didn't, at the time, you didn't have like a special fixtures for video games.
Yeah.
So they'd take the jewelry like cases, and they'd line all the games under the glass. So I remember leaning on the glass, and that back then they had the incandescent bulbs, so the glass would be all hot, and you'd be looking in and just like staring at all the, going, man, I wish I could have all of these guys. Mom, can I just get this one? No, you're not getting any today. Okay, can we just go over there and look? Well, you can look. I remember she always, but you can look, but we're not buying any. And in my head, you think, oh, no, as soon as she sees how great these are, she's going to at least let me get one. Nope.
One step at a time. I get over there and look, I'm going to get one. Don't you wish you could go back to those days, though, as simple as they were?
Especially like right before Christmas, going, oh, this is what I want that one, but then this one's cool. Well, you want all of them. No, I want this one. If you could, if you're getting me one, or if Santa's going to get me one, or that's what it was. It was always, ask Santa. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, who would have known? And Jan says, why didn't Intellivision catch up with Nintendo and Sega? What happened? Well,
that wasn't at the same time.
Yeah, it was. Well, they were still going, but they were too small at that point. Like Mattel sold them off to the Blue Sky Rangers, correct?
They sold them off to a guy who was the marketing fella for Mattel, bought them, and then it ended up going to another group, which was when Keith Robinson and Steve Roney and stuff sort of took it over as INTV. From Intellivision Inc. to INTV.
Yeah.
And it was always a small company at that point. Like I'm talking mail order sales, and they're very rarely in store. Toys R Us, they got them some. And of course, we talked about, was it Radio Shack so much? Is that what it was? Right.
Lots of backstop they had.
Even that was catalog, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, it wasn't a big corporation like Sega and Nintendo at the time. So it wasn't a matter of keeping up or catching up. They sort of peaked and faded off. It just didn't quite die like Atari did, and they just maintained. And then Sega and Nintendo came in. It was a totally different era.
Yeah, and they just destroyed. I mean, they were good. I mean, the NES was fantastic. Sega. I mean, now I have a Master System. Getting it now, it's not as crazy cool as probably it was back in like the early mid '80s. J.C. Penney's at my house had a lot of Intellivision games. The ones that just come out for sale. Yeah. J.C. Penney's, Sears, J.C. Penney.
Does that still exist? J.C. Penney's.
We have one here. I still get ads for J.C. Penney.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I haven't had in years.
I don't know.
Nilgard says the carts were even $60. Yeah, like 40 to. I guess some of them were 60. Yeah, you're right. That was going kind of the going. I mean, I remember them eventually being around 40, but that was like on sale. So,
and that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, think about it back then. To me, that's a lot of money now, let alone it for like one cart.
I would say quadruple that for what the actual value was at the time. Wouldn't you say? Would you say 120, 150?
It'd have to be.
With what the salaries were at that time and such?
I brought Frogger at Hamley's in London for 50 quid in 1983 when I was 12. Came home to St. John, went to Sears, and it was $7. Oh. All in TV were $7. My parents said, buy one of each.
That's hilarious.
See, and by that time, I mean, I was a lot younger too. So my one sister and my brother-in-law, they did that. They followed it, and whatever they could, they'd buy a game. But when everything went on clearance, they cleared the clearance bin out. So they had a bookshelf that looked like this back in like 83, and they're not going to give them up because they still love games to this day. But I meant to ask her to see if because they're split now, but they still talk, and I still have a nephew I think my brother-in-law Rich, he may still have them at his place because I think he's still in the same house that they used to live in. So I might have to reach out to him and go, dude, do you have these? Yeah,
really.
He might even have a couple rarities that I don't have.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think they bought anything into the like the Super Pro catalog, which came out, which would have been the real big, but I think they got everything that just went on clearance that was from the original releases,
right,
all the way up to like the kind of Crash with the 83 or so. But I mean, they might have
Parker Brothers games. You could have some Coleco games in that, you just don't know.
That was the first time I played Microsurgeon. I'm like, whoa, you got everything. And I was like, oh, you just use popping cartridge after cartridge and trying them out. Vectron, this is crappy. And then I put in Microsurgeon and used to love that. JCPenney in 79, yeah. Hey, Stu, thanks, man. That's awesome. Don't forget to sub to Papa Pete, too, unless you sub to him and not me, and that's good, because you don't want to sub to me. I'm terrible. I'm kidding. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining. There was no video game crash in Europe, just here.
That's true. It is true.
Because that's like, that's where all the games came from, that side of the pond. Is the original Intellivision the best console of all time? I'd like to think so.
I do too.
Hey, it's mine. And I just did a whole thing on. I just did a Switch review on because it's been a while that I got it to play the Switch, and I got the Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, and it's basically just a repolished with new graphics, same play mechanics, same everything, because you can literally hit a button and it'll flip to the Sega Master System one, and you can jump around, hit the button again, and you're still doing the same jumping around, but with flashier graphics. But it doesn't change like the way the jumps kind of sucked still on it, and the way this, the way because to me it was like you jump on something and you go like this and then get excited and fall off of it. It like you wouldn't jump and stay still. And I don't know, going back to like what saying here, like of course I think Intellivision is the greatest thing of all time, and I'm very biased. I love the controllers. People they hate the controller. I love them because I grew up on that. Yeah, playing Pitfall on an Intellivision controller, I like better than playing it on an Atari joystick. But obviously people argue that with me. Well, same thing when I played that Alex Kidd. I thought I never grew up with a Master System. So I had zero nostalgia. I just heard it was a good title. I had a couple just recently got into Master System, and I got the Alex Kidd in High Tech World. which I started to play. So I tried it. Yeah, instant death mechanic. Exactly, one touch, boom, you're dead. You fall off, touch something, boom. Oh, live in the moment. Thanks for stopping by, man. That's awesome. Yeah, just watch the replay. Thank you so much. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. I think as us all as gamers is like we're always gonna like what we grew up and experienced first, And if you didn't do that and you try to do that 40 years later, like I'm doing with Sega Master System, I don't think I'm gonna get the same nostalgia out of that. Where someone's good. I've seen tons of great reviews. People go, "This was the best port. They did this right." I think even Riggs was it Riggs or Hancock was like, I think it must be John Hancock because he loves Sega.
Right.
Going, this was done right. And I was like, I was just honest in my review. I go, I'm not knocking anything. I'm like, it's a great port if you grew up on the Sega Master System. Same thing with Intellivision. I'm going to love the new ASTROSMASH because I grew up on the old ASTROSMASH. But I could see a hardcore gamer coming in and going, well, it's just a ship going back and forth. So it's like, yeah, it's awesome. I don't know. That's just my opinion. UK only discovered Intellivision about 3 years ago. It wasn't big here. Now my name is Intellivision. Very good. See, it's a special little system. It's different, man. It's different.
That's what I've heard is that it just wasn't all that huge in the UK. Like it just didn't make it over as much as Atari did.
Yeah. I mean, Atari was just that was just the mega power. The mega powers. There wasn't much of a market in Europe, mostly microcomputers. The cassettes were mostly pirated, as so as the cottage bedroom programmer industry, kind of too small to crash. I mean, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Jan says, with Mattel being as big as it is, I wonder why the television isn't as big as Asia. People at Nintendo and Atari. I mean, they kind of came, they didn't really come late to the game, but they kind of did. I mean, from 77, they really fully released in 80, and then you had a couple years. And yeah, Atari was a juggernaut, and Mattel they kind of bowed out. I think they were already doing toys, and they just went, we're going to sell this. We're not want to be part of this.
They had Bandai release it in Japan. They had a Middle Eastern version, which are really rare, stuff like that. So anyway.
Hey, Rhea, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah,
hey, the Pong Show.
Benny, what's going on? My two favorite Intellivision boys. Yeah, just talking Intellivision. I'm surprised to hear that that NT wasn't big in Europe, as I had worked briefly with Keith at E3 when the GameCube version of Intellivision Lives was released. Great collection too. I played the heck out of that. One reason for the Cube release was because NT had and we'll wait for the second half.
But there was a following in Europe. It just didn't seem to catch on as much in Europe as it did over here in North America. But that being said, it was relatively small compared to Atari here in North America as well. It's just that it had such a faithful following that, and the people involved with it, like right up through the Blue Sky Rangers to this day, are still involved with Intellivision. And you don't see that with Atari. Like the original programmers outside of Howard Scott Warshaw, who has no affiliation with Atari whatsoever, but he's still prominent and talks about it and such. Really, Intellivision was the only one that managed to keep its own little business together through the whole thing, but it was all based over here. It was never, ever huge. I think that's kind of it. It was just so small compared to other things in Europe and in Asia.
Do you feel like it's more? There's always been passion with television, though, and that's why the name stayed. It was, even though it was small, it had its ups and downs. It was bought, rebought, but even like I said, those same few guys kept holding on to it. And to this day, those same guys are holding on to that passion.
I'll even say this to a degree, because I'm one of them. It's like there's a little bit about being an Intellivision snob in the 80s too, because if you were lucky enough to have, remember, it was a $300 friggin' video console, which was like $1,000. So if you were lucky enough to have it in Intellivision, it's like ooh la la, right? Everybody else had an Atari 2600. So there was a little bit of real passion for it in that regard too, but it was a little bit of upper echelon thing to have it in television as well, for better or for worse. At the end of the day, it's very much for better, because that's gone, but the Intellivision managed to live through the years. Yeah. Hey, Cyrus, good to see you, man.
I used to do that all the time to my cousins. Like, oh, we got Intellivision, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Wait till Pac-Man comes out on us. It's not gonna be a block and a vitamin, all right. I used to give them crap all the time.
I mean, that's just the reality. That's just the way it was back then.
But
I mean,
it was fun
serious,
though. It was fun.
People who loved it, loved it.
Someone down in my VFW saying there are new Intellivision homebrews coming out. There's always a ton. Check out IntellivisionCollector.com. I can't say enough good stuff because I just did some business with them. If you're looking to collect homebrews or Intellivision games, the original games, variants, systems, components, stuff from other countries like French Canadian versions of the games, gatefold boxes, reproduction boxes, cartridges, you name it. Intellivisioncollector.com. Get you started on. But I just got a homebrew of the Wizard of War, and I'm beyond excited to play that as much as a lot of stuff I really needed.
Within the last few months, I'll say since the summer, the number of homebrew games released in physical condition, physical format has passed the original number, the original 125 for games released back. 79 and 89. So that's how big the homebrew market is, because these aren't games that are selling thousands and thousands of copies, but they're selling enough to make it somewhat profitable for some of the companies making them and do an amazing job, like Electronite, like Intellivision Revolution, like CollectorVision, right? I mean, to name a few.
And, speaking of a few,
hey, Cyrus.
That was a good segue, but
so
what's happening, Cy?
What's up, guys?
Oh man, I'm glad you came on here. It's about time, Spocky. You're an Intellivision guy too, man.
This is true. This is true. You can easily prove that. What's up? I've been watching you guys forever, and I keep meaning to try to come on, and for whatever reason, it hasn't really worked out. But
so big fan, first timer. I understand.
Oh yeah, first time, long time. Yeah.
Kurt says I got my first television console for high school graduation in '82. My uncle bought one a year before and loved playing his. I had to have one. Bought a lot of games back then. God, it really is about the nostalgia of it, just growing up with it.
Yeah, my thing with the Intellivision is obviously I'm like you guys. I was there in the olden pixel days. Yes. When we plugged in our game consoles with the two prongs to the back of the TV
with the screwdriver and adjusted your rabbit ears and made sure channel 3 or 4 was
yes black and white, even though it said for color use only.
You could put it on a black and white. I don't know why they had that rule. I played an NES on a black and white TV that I found. This is kind of gross. I was I don't know how old I was when the NES came out or when I finally got one, but in my room I always had a little black and white TV that it was secondhand. To have a TV in your room back then was kind of
It made you feel like you were special.
Oh, I felt special, and then I had my wagon, and for some reason I used to love to on garbage night go garbage picking and find, oh look at this, it's a radio, oh look at this, it's a broken whatever, and my parents would hate it, like stop digging through the trash. And I went around the block with my wagon, and there was a big I don't know how big the TVs were then. I think it was a 20 or 20. It was maybe a 25 incher. It was the biggest black and white TV I'd ever seen.
That is a big.
I mean, it was a.
That's what I'm thinking too.
And it had a big old white plastic that had yellowed over the years through, because this was like mid 80s, right? And I was like, oh my God, I popped that sucker. I got it up, got it in the wagon, took it home.
100 pounds.
Easily. And it thing worked perfect. It was black and white, but had a beautiful picture. I was playing Super Mario 2 on it.
Nice.
Almost a year until I hate to say it, my grandmother passed away and I inherited her TV from her living room. But yeah.
I think I beat Zelda 2 on a black and white, little 13-inch Zenith black and white TV. Yeah.
It's fun.
It's the big televisions in the United States.
It's fun. Oh, Zenith. Oh man. So I'm from
Zenith, right?
I'm from a pretty small town, and we didn't have like we had like some stores, but we didn't have like the big stores. You know, like we didn't have like Toys R Us. We didn't have like, you know, all the things you would really like. We had a Sears catalog outlet you could go order from. Okay. So you guys know, but we had a Western Auto. Do you know? You guys probably don't have Western Auto. Probably never heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Well, Western Auto, I don't know how widespread it was, but we had one, and it was like a department store where you could also get like your car worked on and stuff, right? It was pretty small, but it had a bunch of crap. I mean, it had everything from TVs, washers and dryers, bicycles, all kinds of odds and ends, and video games. And that's where my mom bought our Intellivision.
Yeah,
because they would not carry, for whatever reason, Atari.
That was for peasants. They only the higher end video games.
I don't know, but they had Intellivision, and they also had consignment. So my mom was able to make payments on it, which is how we were able to do it.
Sure.
And I've told the story before. She actually bought us 2 Intellivisions because the first one burned up on us.
Oh.
Like, I don't know exactly what happened. This is when I was a little kid, but there was smoke and smells and unpleasant
plastic and sorts.
Yeah, but my mom believed so much in Intellivision. She had bought us Math Fun. God, freaking math. And
I had it too, my friend. I had it too, and I went, of all the games, we got this, huh?
But see, that was their whole shtick for the parents. It was like, it's educational and games. That's why she insisted that we get Intellivision instead of Atari, and I was horribly upset about that until I really enjoyed the Intellivision. But I was always mad because I was like, we didn't get, because I never knew there was a Pac-Man on Intellivision. As far as I knew, we didn't get Pac-Man, and they did have Pac-Man over there, but
our cousins had it. Save the vitamin and the square guy and
but guys, I still like I'm playing my damn Intellivision, like it's right here. I've been playing it. You guys, I play it all the time. I have fun. I just got a couple more games for it. Right. And it's fun. It's still fun. It's more complicated than I remembered. The horse racing, I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, I saw you did I caught the end of it. You did you were playing the horse racing and people were betting on the horses and to win. And
dude,
in the chat had their horse. I'm like, that was awesome.
We're gonna turn it into a regular thing. I'm gonna do
it's gotta be, dude. That's what it's awesome. Yeah, I'm
gonna do like a whole thing with that. But man, it's not just nostalgia. That's what my point I wanted to make.
Right.
Because God, yes, there's a tremendous amount of an unbelievable, unfathomable, indestructible giant asteroid of nostalgia.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
That the Intellivision is this giant asteroid, right, of nostalgia. That's absolutely true. Yeah. I'm not claiming otherwise, but what I would say is I'm not playing my Intellivision and getting new games that I never owned for it out of nostalgia. Like I just got Centipede on the Intellivision. I never had it. I had it
nice.
I had it for everything else, but I never had it for Intellivision. I was like, well, it's like $7 on eBay. I'm like, all right, why not? Let's try this. And I'm not doing that because I'm like, oh man, Centipede. I've got Centipede, but I want to play it on the Intellivision because I love that console. It's just a fun console. And the control, I know it gets a bad rap, but that controller is really good. And I'm going to show you something.
Centipede's great on it.
I'm sitting here tinkering with this thing. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I got to tell you, this when this thing works properly, it's great. But good luck. Good luck.
They break too. Like you look at them wrong, they broke. Yeah.
I just had to take this thing completely apart and clean all the contacts inside and piece it back together, and it still doesn't work right. So, but you know what? These things, always work.
Yeah.
They always, even now, people are like, oh, well, if they ever mess up, they're built into the console. They never mess up. So
4 or 5 screws, you can pop them right out too.
Okay. And see that, and I don't know if you guys really want to do any kind of a segue here, but like the controller has always been so important to the experience of Intellivision.
Yep.
And I know you guys agree with me. That had to be the case for the new Intellivision. If that wasn't the case, it wasn't going to be. Yeah, it would have just been a name. Because that's it. Some people say, I've heard it argued, oh, this isn't really Intellivision. This is like this new. It's not. They just call it Intellivision, and I'm like, no. It's the philosophy of how the games are played carried over, and the same games reimagined, new versions like sequels or whatever.
Yeah,
it is Intellivision. It is the same thing, and it's and Rab, you're right. You guys know we've talked to Tommy about that. Like him choosing to resurrect this experience, that didn't have to happen. That didn't need to happen, but he wanted it. He willed it to happen because he's like us, right? It's not just about the nostalgia.
And he's good. He's good at games too, and the old games.
Well,
you see him like he got me pretty good at baseball. I wasn't even thinking of being prepared or anything. I was like, oh, this dude, he me on baseball, and he knows how to play the games. He really legitimately is a gamer, and people just, you gotta see that about it.
The funny thing about Tommy is he's always ready, no matter what game. You'll be like, all right, biplanes, okay, like battle tanks, gotcha. How about
Moon Patrol? Oh my God, he almost did the whole level without looking at it. Like it was so easy.
I know it's his baby, and and obviously he spends a lot of time with the games and everything. But baseball, that's not. That's a separate. That's the old Intellivision. He just loves
the whole reason he's doing it, because he grew up with this just like us. Has so much love for this and so much memory of this that he wanted. Yeah, like you said, you couldn't just go, okay, well, let's just throw a generic PC or Xbox controller and call it a game console with a Running Man on it.
Yeah,
you gotta bring back this. Because the people that played this loved it. The people that don't like it, they don't like it. What are you gonna do?
I think people don't understand it. I think that's clear. I think that's clear. Yeah. Like people see it and they're like, what is that? Why?
The uniqueness of the controller also made it so it was one of the more difficult retro games to bring forward into modern day consoles as well. You could make the Intellivision lives for the Xbox, for the PlayStation, for the DS was about the best one because you could have the other screen as your overlay, right? Touch screen. But it was really hard to you could take like the Evercade games. It's very specific why you have to pick those games for the system, because there's some games that just don't transfer, like baseball.
Is this Lucky Day doing the,
that's why I always go Dusty Bottoms, because I don't know. But the only controller more durable than the original is the Amico. I actually agree, because at the Boston event, Tommy was literally throwing it across the room, and we're all like, oh, that's gonna at least shatter the screen. And nope, he threw it at both events twice.
The thing is about Tommy, he's been trying to tell us stuff for a long time, and we don't really understand. Like sometimes we need to like have it like abundantly explained. Like he made like these videos showing how durable these controllers were, joking around like, oh, we're gonna shoot it with a slingshot and we're gonna all this kind of stuff, and we didn't get it. We were just like, oh, that's funny, he's doing the little,
but they're really durable.
No, these things
they're like built like a Tonka truck, but they feel fantastic, and not like, I always thought they were going to be bulky because they were like so thick and well put together, but they more remind me of a new slicker version of this, the weight and everything.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to something bulky or something that does not feel comfortable. It felt comfortable. I love it. It brings you back to this. The whole purpose of the console, a new version of this,
Yeah. What's the, you know, I think of when I try to think of like the most uncomfortable controller I've ever used. I mean, it's probably this freaking thing, but if not, then it's my 3DS. Okay. I have one of those new 3DSs, and if I ever want to play it, it's like fingers hurt. or my Game Boy Advance SP, because it has the two buttons like this, and you're like,
yeah,
you know. But the Amico controller, I don't know what people. It seems like I think people always imagine the controller is like humongous, and then when they finally play it, they're like, "Oh, it was really small," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's about the size of a Super Nintendo controller. It's not huge."
Yeah,
and you try to explain it, but I don't think that really sinks in until you see. I don't know. We get tired of kind of saying the same thing over and over, like, oh, you got to play it, you got to touch it, you got to, you know, all this kind of stuff. But like, it is one of those things that I think that most people, they kind of in their head, they imagine it being a lot bigger and weirder and bulkier. And these buttons, they're like, oh, I have to like press way in. They're like concave. My finger's going to go inside the controller. Like, no, it's very comfortable.
Yeah, I know it's not. It's like it's really easy to hold, real easy on the fingers, and people kept saying, "Oh man, it's hard to fire with AstroSmash." You know, there's auto fire.
Yeah,
that's auto fire guy, and you don't have. But also, all you do is this to auto fire. You can hold it down too. Like it's not like you're like doing this a lot, you know, to play the game.
Right.
ColecoVision was the most painful controller. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I never had one, but I played one. I had friends that had one.
Yeah, I never had one either.
Jan says, why isn't Tommy in the live streams anymore? Where is he? Trying to release this console, and there's nothing really new for him to talk about. But I guarantee you, when there is, I'll have him on. I'll have him on the Amico show.
You know what? I'm very glad that he has gone dark and is just focused on what he's doing. And he's told everybody. What else does he have to tell us anyway?
I've been on like 20 panels with him. There's no reason for me to ask him anything else than have it. Yeah. I mean, to be honest though, if he wants to ever come on here and talk baseball and his tactics for beating me that quick,
good luck with that. Good luck getting the secret.
He did a double play, then he gets a out of the park home run, bases loaded. I'm like, that quick within like not even a minute and a half. And because I was not prepared, I was just like, okay, we're just gonna play this random. And he was like, boom, 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 double play, boom, 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 oh, boom. He's like, I thought you were good. I'm like, wow, okay,
he's really good.
Touché. Which we know. Yeah.
Dusty's asking about those stick-on buttons again. Yeah, they're suction cups, dude. They stick on anything. Like they'll stick on Amico screens. They'll stick on tablets. They'll stick on phones. I mean, if it's a screen, they'll stick on there. Rags is here? Really? Is that really Rags?
I don't know who Rags is.
Oh, yeah, Rags. Looks like it is Rags. A few years ago, I had issues with this guy. We've gone our separate ways, but maybe he's trying to like.
Well, if you like Intellivision, you're cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's here for that. I would seriously doubt that he would be here for that. So,
but yeah, Patrick's talking about the deep dive. Yeah, I do hope we get the Missile Command deep dive this week. Because I believe that was number 3 on the list. And I think there was some talk about them doing another poll to do the next 3, or unless they're just going to go and row all the way down to emoji charades. But to tell you the truth, Rap says they're lick and stick. Tell you the truth, the emoji charades was one of my favorites. I wish they would have done a deep dive in like first.
But, emoji charades was hilarious. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just having a group of people, that is the one you just get. Who it doesn't matter who's at the party. You split the group in half and take turns. Each team takes a turn guessing. You know.
Yeah, I was having fun. Sort of the same kind of fun with that horse racing that we had with the emoji charades. Like you get a bunch of people and everybody's sort of participating from the side. It's really fun. It's an interesting party game, you know, on the Amico, and you pretty much play with your phones. Yeah, that can't really be Rags. There's no way. That's funny.
Yeah, let me know. Oh, that's right. You're a mod on here, anyways.
I don't care if people do whatever. It is what it is.
Care Bears deep dive with Retro Bro. Yeah, why not? Right?
He still has the outfit. He does still have the outfit.
Oh, that's the greatest one.
I do worry that he will attract the furries. You know,
that's something that you got to be careful of.
You do have to be.
Demon Attack is the most game I look forward to, Miko. Yeah, and I think that's one of the, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the ones that was announced of the Magic games they were going to work on first.
It was
Demon Attack,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I really, I'm looking for a lot. Speaking of looking forward to stuff, you know what I'm looking forward to is this new baseball and poker from 1979. Let's take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have you no audio on this one? Oh, well. As you see here, there's some very realistic baseball here. You got a full team, a full 9 innings is what they would have said here if I, for some reason, didn't get my audio put on this. And then you got great pitching action right here. Right here, you'd be hearing the whoosh of the ball, the crack of the bat, if you will. And then you have their new one, Poker and Blackjack. Now, this character right here, they called a shifty-eyed dealer, or Las Vegas style shifty-eyed dealer. And the sounds, it's funny because this, I don't even think some of the way this is set up here with the DL is even on there, because I think that just says 1. I don't even know if there's a 1 and 2 on the original. I like he gets mad right at the end. Oh, that's I didn't have the audio because that was funny because they literally were like, and then you have the most Las Vegas shiftiest eyed dealer or something like that. It's so great.
I can do a voiceover for it if you want.
Oh, there you go.
It could be fun.
Oh, here's actually the list for the deep dives. Yeah, so we got Missile Command next, and then Shark, everybody's favorite Finnegan Fox, Moon Patrol. Pool game was really cool. You know, I understand like there are a lot of us saw like a lot of these games, but I can't believe the ones that are shown the least are on the bottom.
Yeah, really.
But it is what it is, you know. Like Rigid Force. Oh, talk about a good shooter. I think that looked good too.
You know, and I know it's on a lot of different platforms, but the version that's on Amico is different. You know, it has that multiplayer aspect. And you get, you know, it has the controller implementation, you know, the way the Amico controller is set up. So it's not the same game that's on, you know, Switch and Steam and everything else. So if you already have played Rigid Force Redux, you know, there's no reason to not try it on the Amico too if you're curious about it.
Yeah, especially with that like invincible satellite. Basically, you're the gatherer of power-ups and the protector. Gatherer, protector, that's invincible. So that's kind of fun to do like a co-op with. Benny says, I personally don't like auto fire shooters traditionally using my thumb for the fire button, and a lot of people play that like that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that one you could set it up, and if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this because I could always be wrong. But I believe I was just holding down the top button to auto fire because I think you can do that unless that's just on the double shot. But
does that
you do that, or you set it on the screen that has an auto fire as well, and then. But yeah, I mean, either way, it's yes, I agree. I've been wanting them to do horse racing on Amigo as well.
If they do,
pony racing.
If they do, I will offer my narration, my what is it? Announcer voice pro bono. I would be more than
they showed a thing with that, but they have talked about doing it, right?
That'd be awesome.
Horse racing. Oh yeah,
I'm almost positive he said that.
I mean, what better party game can you get than that? Really, you might be playing a little bit with the gambling aspect of the
right?
10 and under, but
instead of money, make it something other than
like
money,
candy or chocolate, or
something.
Or you fill up, or maybe it's something. The more you. I don't know, like so you fill up something like with something, you know, it doesn't have to be money, but and whoever gets to the top to fill this container up first by the end, I don't know. So really stupid, but kind of like a rain gauge, no?
A rain gauge.
What you do is you grind up your horse, and by the end,
there you go.
Fill up the
It's fill it up with sausage meat. Yay! When you
you turn them into super glue, right?
Well, Eating Paste might like that. He's
Horse racing is a Wikipedia list of Amico games, if that is accurate. Oh yeah, probably then. If that was
the Amico list is probably all the games that have been discussed over time.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it wasn't on my radar until I just rediscovered horse racing. So now I got to ask Tommy. I haven't even asked him about it. I'm telling you, I never even was like concerned about it. And now I'm like very concerned about it.
No, like this past, no, it was last year. We went up during like the whole lockdown thing. I actually went camping up north, and I set up my little portable TV with a power bank and my flashback, and me and my buddy, I go, dude, you want to play some horse racing? I was like, I haven't played in years. I'm like, can you look up the instructions on your phone? And he pulls it up because you can find anything nowadays, and he's reading. He's like, oh yeah, you can control the horse with this thing, and this one you can do. And so I was like, and we started playing, and then one of my controllers went out of nowhere on the flashback. Yeah. Of course, it would never happen on the regular one. But I got so re-intrigued with it because I used to play it but never understood it that much back in the day. And I was like, oh my God. And I think it was right after that I did that video on the horse race. And I'm like, throw My Little Ponies in there. I don't care. I want horses racing.
That's a fun game, man. And I don't understand that game. Like, it's so random. Like I couldn't figure it. Like, it just ran. It's like, all of a sudden the horse takes off, and then here comes another horse out of nowhere. And then, no, this one's going to win that you didn't expect. And everyone's just like, what? We had a great time playing, man. Yep. I think Panda said it's the most fun he ever had on the internet. I was like, wow, really?
The Shifty Eye Dealer is cool. Yes, he is. Well,
John Alvarado's going to be the Shifty Eye Dealer, isn't he? Isn't that what
I say if they do a launch, he should dress up as the I don't know what is it. I just keep calling it the pirate shirt. The old 70s Vegas shirt, the white shirt with the buttons and the little tie. But then he has to take his mustache and twirl it straight and wax it out straight. I want him to be the Shifty Eye Dealer.
I mean, it seems like it's destiny.
That's the best way to put
it. How is life going to bring him to work for Intellivision with that mustache and not be the Shifty? I mean, that would be like,
he's just groomed for the role, man. He's just groomed for the role.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. I absolutely agree. With that being said, we're just over an hour, so I'm going to call it. I have a birthday I have to go to.
Okay.
So I am going to get out of here. I thank you, dude, and please stop by and see us anytime, Si, because there's so much more we haven't all discussed at the same time. Or the same room together, I should say.
Well, hey,
if you will.
I will mention I'm off work the next 2 days. If y'all are doing anything or want to stream or anything, hit me up. So,
I mean, I also got Wednesday too. So feel free.
Oh, Wednesday. Yeah, we'll do something Wednesday. Yeah, cool.
But I'd like to thank everyone in chat. Thank you so much for hanging out, talking some classics, watching some old silly clips, talking about Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers at the beginning.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know what happens here. It's always a fun conversation. I want to thank Papa Pete and Cyrus.
So tomorrow night on my channel, I'm going to have a special guest. Jeff and I are going to do an interview with Michelle Stryker, which may mean absolutely nothing to you, that name, but he recently made an appearance in the Intellivision Amico Club on Facebook, and I couldn't believe it. I hadn't heard from him. Gentleman from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and he's the star of the video from about 10 years ago called My Intellivision. If you haven't seen the video, it's done like Sinead O'Connor style video of him.
Hilarious.
And there's so many people who sincerely always believe that was him, the person in that video, because it's Nintendo Champions, the name of the channel, him who sang the song and did the song because he did it so well. Well, He's appeared sort of out of nowhere about a month ago, so he's going to be on my channel tomorrow night for an interview. So we're going to find out the scoop on that video and when he and his girlfriend made it, 10, 12, 15 years ago. So join in over on my channel. That'd be great. Should be a lot of fun at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific.
Oh, and we got another kitty cat coming.
Oh yeah, we got.
That's the one that just keeps you lift off, comes back around, lift off, comes back around.
Yep.
Get a good workout. That's a good thing.
That's why you have to look at it. Yeah, you got to see the positive side of things.
The cat thinks it's a ride. You get a workout where everybody's
happy. Yeah.
There it is, and then pop right back up again. Thanks everyone. Thanks the panel. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Sorry I was late. I didn't realize y'all were.
Oh no.